Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to the
Yes.
Glory in Family series.
Yay.
Every Tuesday. How is your Tuesday? How is your day going? My name is Miriangela Chezida.
And mine is Rantale Lillian Jones.
Yeah, so, Banange, thank you for sticking with us.
Yes.
We have been going through a family series. We talked about blended families, we talked about
Way
our way
with
with children. Now, as a result of all those series we've made, we're going to talk about abuse in families. No, why are
Oh,
you
no.
lulating?
I don't know what's the reaction.
So,
Sorry.
right now, okay, not just right now, I think it has always been something that happens where there is abuse in families. By abuse, I mean children getting abused sexually or even domestically by the people watching over them or fellow relatives. Yeah, there are things that happen in homes that sometimes are never dealt with. And so we are going to talk about those situations and how to go around them, how to avoid them, how to go around them, avoid so that our children don't grow up with the trauma of being abused by someone in your home or a relative or a friend. So we are going to talk about it and how to avoid it, how to go around it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll start by saying that pay attention to your children. Like, make it your job to watch your children. I'm going to say this as bluntly as possible. Spend as much time with your children as you possibly can. Be with your children. Why is this important? One, it helps you learn your children, their patterns, their behaviors, their habits, so that in case something is happening, you can notice and get ahead of it. Let me say you spend time with your son and you know your son or your daughter is bubbly, loud, playful, those things. Then all of a sudden they get quiet, they are abusive, they have short tempers, and you may attribute that to adolescence, maybe because they have grown and not know that actually something has happened because you do not spend enough time with your child and you don't know your child. So when I say watch your child, I mean be with your child, spend time with your child, be an ego. Right now, we have developed a way of life where we rear children. You have children, and then you put policies or things in place to make your life comfortable as a parent while you have children. So you get maids, shamba boys, you take them to boarding school, you take them to their grandparents. You find a way to make sure that your child stays alive while you continue with your normal life as it was. There's this phenomenon of keeping your life as normal as possible, even though you have children, which is not biblical. When you have children, it's now their time in your life. So be with them, watch them, learn them, so that if something happens, you can get ahead of it. You can notice something is going on.
Yeah. Why are we actually talking about this? It's because some parents are actually coming out and talking about how they found out that their children are being abused and they didn't know that it was actually happening to their children in their families, and it's the people that they are living with, the people that you trust, the people that you know that are actually adult enough to take care of your children. But then in the background, those people that you're trusting with your children are actually mistreating or abusing your children. And the children can't tell because sometimes, first of all, they are threatened. If you tell your mom or your dad, I'll do this to you, or I'll do this to your parents. And remember, sometimes they manipulate them with, I'll kill your parents. You get? So the child is not able to talk about it. But that is because you also don't spend time with them. And the advice I want to give to you is check your children. You know, there is this time whereby you give the maid to wash your children. Okay, wash the children, yes. But then after, check them. See their body, like their eyes, their butts, anything. So that when you see something that is not in line, you ask them what happened to you here. You get so that you can know it was not the neighbor who came and cut your child. He just fell. Because children will always tell you. And the other thing is to believe your children. or whether they are lying, or whether they are not, put a benefit of doubt there and know that if my child has said this, then there must be a reason as why they are saying it. It might not have happened to them, but there might be a reason. And then after, follow up. Don't attack. Follow up on what the child has done. Keep watch, as she has said. Hawkeye is like, eh? And we are not telling you that everywhere they go, you follow. No. But like, make sure that you're keeping an eye on them, watch over them. People these days, in fact, maids, we've been watching videos that have been happening where maids are beating up the toddlers, not even children, like big children, but toddlers. A child has not yet moved, but the maid is busy beating the child, like as if the child has stolen something from them, which is not okay. And you, the parents, don't know. But until you watch, at least maybe your neighbor has told you, but you get it. But this and this with your child, and sometimes you don't pay attention to them. Learn to pay attention to your children. So that is why we want to talk about it. Yes.
And following up on what we even said last week about setting guidelines, teach your children their boundaries with family members, with neighbors, with friends. You teach your child what they need to know.
Yes.
I think there's this thing where you feel like if you tell your child certain things, you're taking their innocence away, and then maybe they'll get curious. But believe me, it's better to tell them early than tell them after something has happened. You have a daughter, you get a male guest living in your home. Tell your daughter, don't go into so-and-so's bedroom under any circumstances. Don't go there. Don't sit on so-and-so's laps. They are not your father. Under any, like, set clear guidelines. Don't go to the neighbor's house. Don't enter. You know, when we were younger, or at least our parents, they would tell them, let me never see you in that man's house. Let me never see you in that neighbor's compound. Let me never. Because they were protecting their children from something. Now, we have done away with that because we are trying to be over modern, over what cool I don't parents. Know. You tell your child, don't ever sit on this one's laps. Don't ever play with so-and-so. And if you see your child behaving a certain way around certain people, let's just assume these ones are cousins, daughter, son, and they're cousins, but they are overly close, more than they should be. Note that and tell your daughter, by the way, don't be like this and this with this one. It's your job to teach your children, because you have no control over the other people. All you have control over is your child. So you tell your child, don't do this, don't do that, don't go this way, don't go that way. Because when the thing has happened, your child may not know what has happened, because they have never seen it. And by the way, in your absence, your children are exposed to things. I have a friend of mine where when the parents would go away, the maid would be watching porn and make the children watch porn. And make the children practice what they were watching. And because the parents have never, you don't even expect these things. Like, you don't expect someone to do that to your children.
Yeah.
But it found them. This thing has been instilled in them and they think it's normal. So as a parent, you have, maybe they were 5 and they learned this thing. But if you have been doing what we said of watching your children, your child will somehow, by the way, we did this and this, and you're like, what did you say? Because that gives you awareness of what's happening in the home. I think we have overleft taking care of our children to maids, to who, and these people are not equipped. It's not their job. They're not equipped to watch or love or care the way that you want. So teach your children what they need to know. Teach them the basics. I will give this example. Even God the Father, Yagamba, the Israelites, when they were going into there are other gods there. Please know that those gods are there. Please do not worship those gods. Now imagine God had said, these guys, it's too new for them. Let me first wait to tell them about other gods. Then they enter, then it's dangerous. He told them immediately. So the information you give is based at the age, but you can still say, don't do this, especially when you have people in your home. If there are no people in your home, Kale, you can say it's a safe space, I don't need to talk about it. But you have other people in your home who are not mommy, daddy, and you expect that things are just going to happen normally. You have no idea how cunning the devil is. And when he gets that child at that age.
And the other thing is, I want to highlight what you've said about talking to them, about certain conversations. Now you might say, my child is 6 years, or let me say 5 years. Okay, so what is there to talk about? What is there to talk about is this: don't let people touch your private parts. Men, do not let them touch your boobies, this, your butt. If they do, immediately run to me. They will know they are safe. That is just perfect enough for your child to come and tell you, Mommy, so and so touched me here. You get? And don't try to say, oh, sorry, and then walk away. No. Address the person who has touched your child and let them know that you've known that my child will actually tell me when you do anything stupid. Don't just conceal it and be like, okay, now don't go near them. Address that person. Yes, tell that child don't go near them again, but also address the person to know that I am watching you. You get? I've known your habits, so that means I'll be watching you. Trust me. How if they're not afraid, then then it's the devil. You cast it out. But it's always good to talk about situations. Now that is for the 4 years, because my child, she started knowing that my private parts are mine when she was 4 years. So no one could, even if it's by mistake, she will run and tell me, this one touched me. So I have to ask, what situation was it? I have to go following the pattern and know, why was it like this? So I have to ask, was it an accident? That's if it's a fellow child. And if it's a big person, I'll be like, why? I'll get into your face. So get into their faces and ask them, why are you touching my child? Do not hide away. Do not hide away from your children. Show them that they are safe. Because if you don't, then this person is going to dominate over them.
Yeah.
And they'll be good news.
Yeah. I want to address something sensitive. So let's assume the relative is your husband's.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're in your husband's house. So it's like his brother or his cousin, like a close relative, and they have probably done something to your daughter. It can be very painful for you as a parent, a mom, when you go and tell the father your brother is doing this and this, and he maybe takes the brother's side or anything, and those situations are there.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? This is what, like she said, make sure your child knows you got them.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important thing in that moment. If your husband is not willing to kick that relative out, at least tell him to talk to the relative. Like, it must be known that we know what you're doing. And if your husband is the kind of man who is like, I don't want to know, my dear, pray.
Yeah.
In fact, let me start this. I should have started with prayer, because prayer is a place where only God can touch certain things.
Yeah.
Because there are situations where you're not in control. A girl may be watching this and she's in a home where she's not in control. And she's like, okay, so you've said all these things, my parents must help me. But my parents are actually not helping me. They are not listening to me. God is your fighter. God will come in for you. Like, we need to learn to trust. Yes, our parents are there, but they are human. We are all human. We fail. I know someone whose mother, like, she wanted to tell her mother things had been happening to her. Her mother didn't give her the time of day, and she wasn't able to tell her mother what had been happening, and the issue was not addressed. Now, you may be that person whose parents are like that, and you're like, okay, so what do I do? We pray. We pray and we ask God to make it right, to take away that person. We need to know that God will fight for us, even when our parents will not.
Yeah.
You need to know, mother, that God will fight for your daughter or your son, even when your husband is choosing the side of the relative, because maybe this person, and if you might even be in their home, you might be in their home. You've been taken on by this rich uncle. You've fallen on hard times, and then he demands the daughter as the payment for. Guys, there are situations that are beyond what we are saying, and God has to fight for you. Don't take God out of it. Be calm. One, continue to respect your husband. God is not going to hear your prayers when you're not submitting. That
Yeah.
is the worst thing you can do for your child.
Mm.
Pray and let God fix that situation. Let God vindicate you. Like how God vindicated Sarah
Yeah.
when her husband had given her away. He came through for her, and this what God did in that household.
Destroyed them.
Pray for your children. If anything, if you feel like it's really out of your control, because I may tell my child everything she needs to know, and still something happens that's out of my control.
Yeah.
We still need to pray for the
the
children
children.
in the homes.
Yeah.
Let's not just and prayer covers, it surrounds.
Yeah.
It makes sure that water to sekale wachiri. Obviously, God
Esale
reaches
tu
everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
But you need to have those conversations. Tell people, tell the children, talk, communicate.
Don't conceal information thinking that it is safe if I don't talk about it. Because there is also thinking that when you talk about it, then you're going to make them curious and then they want to know. But then if you don't talk about it, then bad things are going to happen to them. And they will not know that it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're a child, there is a person I know, she was a child, she didn't know that it was bad. And she kept on going back to that place. But she didn't know that it was bad. So this thing was being done to her. And then she grows up, she doesn't want to know. You get, like, she's like, you get. So she's living her life. She doesn't know that it was. She now knows that whatever was done to her was bad. But when she was young, she didn't know because they were not talking about it.
The conversations never happened.
Yes. So do not conceal information. Every time when they make a certain age, tell them this age comes with
this
burdens.
And this.
Yes. Okay, not burdens.
But
just, but do not try to say, finally, she's now 7. And then you're like, now she can take care of her young siblings. Okay, she can, but then you're also there. Look
out for your children.
Your children.
And finally, boarding school. Things happen to your children in boarding school that
you can't imagine.
And this is what happens when you send your child to boarding school. I don't want to be like mean or anything, but you break something when you not in a like you're not doing again excuses, but this is the thing. When you send your child away, you break
the bond. Yeah.
You break the attachment. Because now they need to be self-reliant. Now, the more you do this, they learn to be self-reliant, but they are not equipped to be self-reliant yet. So they go to boarding school and they learn things there. They come home and they are not going to tell you because you've taught them to be self-reliant. Yeah. They don't need you. I don't know how you're going to fix that issue in your home except for taking your child out of boarding school. But if you can't do that, when the child comes home, you need to take time off work, just be home the whole holiday because you need to rebuild whatever has been broken.
Yeah.
Children they depend on you. I don't know how much to emphasize how much children depend on their parents. They actually need you.
They need the attention.
Fully. So when you send them away, it forces them to react. And when they react, they break. And then things happen. Can you imagine someone molests your child in the dormitory and then she tells her friend and her friend is like, yeah, that happened to me also. So all of you have this trauma and you think it's normal and you go home and they're never going to tell their parents because, you sent me away, I must survive, right?
And it's happening to my friends
and it's happening to everybody, so it must be okay. Yet it's not okay, and that will break your child. You raise a girl who sleeps around and you wonder why.
Yeah.
It's because boarding school yaina cheyaiga and no one ever told her don't. Or by the time they told her, it was too late. Imagine you tell a 16-year-old, it's not good for someone to touch you in your private. Because someone said, especially these ones who go to boarding in primary, someone they being touched when they were 9, 8, and you're telling her now, and she has started enjoying it. What do you mean?
You can't change that. No. And she'll just look at you and she'll be like, but to me, it's normal.
Yeah.
Because one of the people we know, her daughter became a lesbian. Because that's what was happening to her. So she would go to school. Of course, they do those things. So she's not interested in men. For what she thinks being a lesbian is
that's
good.
It. Yeah.
And that was because at home, she was also being molested by one of the cousins of the family. So you see what is going on. And then for you to start saying, my child is spoiled. Oh my God, I don't know. You're going to tell the whole village, but you're not going to talk to your child. So instead of exposing your child to the whole village and the village talking, I think the one thing I appreciate about my dad is that every time someone came and told him that your child is behaving like this, he would defend us. He would say, I know my children. I don't know what you're talking about. But then after, he comes
come
to
for
you and starts telling you, this is what I've had. So he sits you down to listen to your side of the story. And if they are lying, well and good. If they are not, he's going to tell you, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is how you're supposed to act. If it needs to, if you need to be beat, he will beat you. If you need to be punished in another way, you'll be punished. But at least he would always and always not show people that he's going to side with them.
Yeah,
So
over you.
always learn to side with your children. If she comes or he comes and tells you that this person is molesting me, listen to them. Don't try to say, why might you tell me the truth? No. Listen to the child first. In fact, take them aside and talk to them and listen to their side of the story. Then come and speak to this person. But then I said, don't gang up on your child and say, you see, that's what I told her. I know she was lying. No.
Yeah.
That will give this other person bigger grounds to know that if I do this, she's not going to be trusted or she's not going to be believed. Always show people that you believe your child, even if you don't inside. But at least show people that you do. Then on the side, you know how to deal with it. So that's.
I think we've tried to cover that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The overall thing in this is watch your children, spend time with your children, look out for signs of something being wrong.
Yeah.
Teach them what they need to know about those things.
Pray for them.
Pray for them.
And follow your instincts.
Yes. If you feel something is off,
yeah,
something is off. Don't ignore that
Women
feeling.
are intuitive.
If you feel something is off, something is off. Do whatever you need to do to get your child out of a dangerous situation.
Yes.
And be there for them. Because that's what they need. That is your job as their parent. Yeah.
And believe them. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
I pray we have touched this. I'm pretty sure we've not gone even
We've not
depth at all about this.
It's better to talk about it.
If you want to hear more about it, let us know. We'll do another video. If you have questions, maybe specific situations you want to address, let us know so we can address those situations because the things are vast.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is all we have for today.
Thank you very much for watching.
Bye.
Bye.